Let's talk about auctions because, man, auctions give us a great picture of what is happening in the market. We've covered a couple big auctions recently, the Chattanooga Broad Arrow auction and the junkyard auction of Rudy Klein. Well, we are comparing two online car auctions to learn some lessons about selling cars and I guess buying cars as well, what the best strategy is, right? So there's no shortage of online auction houses out there. There's Bring a Trailer, there's PCARMARKET, there's Cars and Bids, there's Collecting Cars. If you're in the UK, there's Carhuna, there's Sotheby's Motorsport, there are SBX, Supercar Blondie's auction site, and then a whole lot of kind of like second tier. If none of those are second tier, which some of them maybe are, but there's a whole lot of second tier auction sites as well. So it's hard to even keep up with what's going on.
And you've even got the old tried and true eBay out there. I still occasionally see cars. It almost feels sketchy to me at this point. It's like, I'm okay with Bring a Trailer and Cars and Bids and all that, but eBay, that's a little weird.
Yeah.
What a time.
Indeed. Well, but speaking of eBay, right? So one of the things that people did not like about eBay when we felt like it was getting kind of diluted or whatever, and this was before Bring a Trailer, is that you would see cars relisted over and over and over again. Cars wouldn't meet reserve. And you go, well, they were diluting their own platform. They were not building value into the cars. And one of the biggest flaws in their system was that they had a buy it now price often concurrent with an auction. So people there's no point in bidding if you know what buys it anyway. Or they would say that the reserve is not met. So everybody knew that would discourage people from bidding because you go, well, I can't buy the car for whatever I bid. So they just would let it not meet reserve and then try to negotiate based off of this farcical market value that had been sort of established by a no sale that didn't meet reserve. Now, all the new online auction sites have gone away from that. They've learned from eBay's mistake, and they do not publish whether or not a car has met reserve until the auction's over. So it encourages people to bid as if they are going to win the car, as if the car is going to be sold.
Which is probably a more accurate way to get the market representation if it doesn't meet the reserve, is there's no outside force telling people to continue to bid. They're just bidding until they're not comfortable anymore.
Exactly. But let's take a look at two in particular. We're going to look at Bring a Trailer versus PCARMARKET. Bring a Trailer is, I believe, I don't think anyone would argue with this, they are the industry leader in terms of online auction. PCARMARKET is a lesser known site. I wouldn't say it's a runner-up. I think Cars and Bids and Collecting Cars and a couple other have more market presence, but they've done pretty well. They've carved out their own niche. And, true to their name, PCARMARKET stands for Porsche cars. They exclusively sell, well, no, they don't exclusively sell Porsches. So their name means nothing.
That's where they started.
Yes.
Which
I would have liked for them to stay there. I feel like MB Market is carving out a definitive niche, and that's cool because if you're a Mercedes enthusiast, that's the site you go to. PCARMARKET has kind of wandered all over the place, grown some, but there's a lot of speculation with that site in terms of, well, is it worth it? Is it not worth it? Are these real transactions? What's going on? Now, I noticed something this week that I thought was really interesting. 3 cars that I had been watching on Bring a Trailer all showed up on PCARMARKET the same day, and they were all no sales on Bring a Trailer. So I said, let's look into this a little bit more. So as of, I believe it was November 13th when I took this sample data, out of the 42 cars that were listed on PCARMARKET, 10 of them were relists from other sites. 9 had not sold on Bring a Trailer and 1 had not sold on Cars and Bids. And another one was a relist from being on PCARMARKET earlier that year. So more than 25% of PCARMARKET's listings in one day were relists. So the question is, statistically, does this make sense, right? Is PCARMARKET getting the sloppy seconds, or are they the cleanup batter, right? Are they taking the auctions that nobody else can do anything with and making something of them? Or are they just,
I have also seen one recently, since I'm paying a bunch of attention to the 996 GT3 market. One did not sell on PCARMarket, went into their deal tank situation post-auction, and then ended up on Bring a Trailer while it was still on deal tank. It was very bizarre. So we've seen the other direction too.
Yes. Yeah. And there's something to learn for sellers. Before we unpack these, there is just something to learn. Well, this is my theory anyway. We're going to see if it proves true in the stats. Is there's a trend now of people listing on one auction site, then the next, and kind of these cars making the rounds of auctions. And I think that is a terrible marketing strategy. The advantage of an auction is somewhat kind of the exclusivity of, well, I can only get it here. And it's really, really bad if you list it on an auction, you still have it advertised somewhere else. So people have like a data point established. Again, it's like the buy it now on eBay. Once you suggest a value into somebody's head, they can't bid without thinking about that value. So let's take a look at these stats. All right, so
I also think before you get started on that, Doug, that like when you see cars going from auction to auction, you think to yourself immediately, well, why didn't it sell over there? What do I need to worry about? Is something up? And then you see all the drama in the comment sections of the previous auction, if there is any. Like it just creates I don't think it is possible in most scenarios to get more by relisting it somewhere else.
Yep. I mean, it holds true with everything, right? You have potential employees that have gone from job to job to job. Well, why do you suck at working for people? Like nobody else wants you. So, same thing with cars. Dating maybe as well. I wouldn't know. But all right. So the first one, 2008 Porsche Turbo Cab. This is the outlier, actually. Bring a Trailer high bid at $45,250. This was a high mileage car, lest you think that you can get Porsche turbos that cheap.
Not anymore.
It went for $59,500 on PCARMarket, and it sold. 93 Porsche 964. Bring a Trailer high bid was $142. PCARMarket high bid was $131. So went down. 78 Ferrari 308 GT4. Sorry, Dino 308 GT4. Bring a Trailer high bid at 41. PCARMarket at 42.2. 2018 Ferrari 48 Spider. Bring a Trailer high bid at 236.5. PCARMarket, it sold for $250,000. Now it did sell to a dealer, which I've noticed anecdotally. A lot of our sales on PCARMarket are to other dealers. There's a high contingency of or high concentration of dealers buying cars off of PCARMarket.
Interesting.
Let's see. 2016 Cadillac ATS-V 6-speed. Bring a Trailer high bid at $33,250. PCARMarket $32,500.
I wonder what they were trying to get for that, because obviously that's what it's worth.
Sure. The deal tank price. This is. I love that we have this stat. The PCARMarket has something that Bring a Trailer and most other auctions don't, is they have a deal tank. So after the auction ends, people can continue to make offers, and there is a buy it now price. So after the auction ends, you know what actually buys the car. And I think a lot of deals are made on PCARMarket that way. Let's see. Porsche 964 Carrera 4 slant nose conversion. Bring a Trailer high bid 57. PCARMarket high bid 60, and that did sell. And I want to highlight this one because this is also an outlier. The bid was marginally higher on Bring a Trailer, on PCARMarket than it was on Bring a Trailer. But PCARMarket obviously convinced the seller that they needed to take the deal. So in this one case out of 11 comps, the seller actually got more realistic and said, I'm going to bring my car down to market. I'm going to accept what the market has said. All these other ones, there was 2 that did sell on PCARMarket that got much higher bids, but all the rest of them, essentially the 2 bids were almost the same from Bring a Trailer to PCARMarket, and none of the sellers got realistic.
Yeah, I have a question about that for you, but I can let you finish your the run through the datums here.
Sure. 2003 Aston Martin DB AR1, a car that I love, but it doesn't have a top or any option for one. Bring a Trailer high bid 176, PCARMARKET high bid 195. A note on this one, this car sold at RM Amelia Auctions in 2018 for 307.
Holy Lord.
And then at RM Fort Lauderdale in 2019 for 225. And note that it was sold by the Retro Motors Collection, which we covered the Chattanooga auction a few episodes back, and a lot of the cars there for sale, especially some of the like more mediocre modern exotics, were all from the Retro Motors Collection. So supposedly they just like buying and selling at auction. They just kind of buy whatever. In this case, they took a giant hit from 307 to 225, and it looks like the DBAR1 is not tracking with the entire rest of the market since 2018, where everything else doubled or tripled in value. These went from 300 to 200.
Yeesh.
Yeah. Note, though, that the buy it now deal tank price is still 270, so they are
Dreaming.
Speaking of Aston Martins, a DB9 Volante 6-speed. Love that. Bring a Trailer high bid was 60. PCARMARKET high bid is 50.
Yikes.
That was also a relist on Bring a Trailer because that one had previously bid to 50K. 89 911 Speedster. Bring a Trailer high bid 164. PCARMARKET high bid 150. And last but not least, an 07 Aston Martin V8 Vantage 6-speed with high miles. This was the PCARMARKET relist. In July, it bid to $32K, and it just closed at a $31,000 high bid.
Ugh.
So by the stats, if you were paying attention, 3 out of the 11 relists sold. 2 of them were because the bids were actually significantly better on PCARMARKET versus Bring a Trailer. So essentially a 20% success rate, improving. I think that supports my theory that relisting from auction site to auction site, whichever direction you go, I'm not saying that PCARMARKET is better or worse than BAT. I'm sure there's ones that start on PCAR and go to Bring a Trailer, whatever, but this was an easy stat to run down because PCARMARKET only had 42 auctions to go through, whereas Bring a Trailer is 1,042.
Insane. So you had mentioned that the outlier being that 964, they came down to market. What was the phrase you used? Do you think that this swirling of from auction site to auction site is due to the fact that we are in a period of prices cooling? They're not collapsing. They're not dramatically falling, but things are worth a little less than they used to be.
Well, yes, prices are cooling, and sellers at the same time are unrealistic, and that gets me into my other stat. Without going into all of the deal tank prices relative to the high bids, let's just say there was a significant difference, and I took the average, right? So the high bid against the buy it now deal tank price. The average high bid was 74% of what the seller wanted for these 8 that did not sell out of the 11 relists. 74%. That is significant. This is not
huge.
just one data point. Like, these sellers are way out of line.
Is this the first time that you have seen something like this happen with these auction sites?
It's the first time I've done this data breakdown on a relist. So, I mean, there's always going to be people that are unrealistic. There's also going to be really flat bidding sometimes. So there's a lot of people will say or comment in an auction that, well, that was the high bid. That's the market. Because you've got this giant global marketplace on Bring a Trailer. This is your only market. And that's an important point that I need to counter, because a no sale, a reserve not met, does not establish market value because a transaction did not occur. Can it lend an insight into the market? Sure. When we have a table of these that are not meeting reserve, fine. But Bring a Trailer is not the only marketplace, as big as it is. And a no sale just means that the market for that day, for that car on that platform, is what was established. It could be different the next day on a different platform. And I think that's what people are trying to do by relisting it on other auctions. But in general, I think when it's that fresh, I just take it off the market, put it somewhere else. Don't keep jumping auction to auction.
For sure. And I kind of have a theory that this might be the first time we're seeing this, because this is the first time that prices have cooled. And this is based on some data that we'll talk about a little later. Since all of the big auction sites started operating and opening up cars to a very broad audience on the internet that wasn't just eBay or Craigslist. You know, I think, and this is really just a feeling, I don't have anything to back it up, that those auction sites rode the rise of the market from the mid-2010s until today, and there hasn't been a correction, a cooling, or anything in that time. So now we are seeing this new phenomenon of people trying to get every last penny they can.
Sure. I think that's fair. Let's move on to the Shrewd Negotiator.
Yes, I have one for you.
I have one for you. Let's see whose is better.
Double header. Okay, mine. I'll go first. This comes to you from the Pelican Parts forums. Not very often you hear things from these guys. 2002 Porsche Carrera Coupe. All right, 996. 5,600 miles.
That's super low miles.
Really low.
How many IMSs has it been through?
I don't know if I'd trust the one that's in there. Carrera white over black, which is, I think, an interesting color combo. You don't see the .2s in white. 6-speed manual. First rate investment grade 996.2 coupe. Part of a collection since new. 2 owners, which is, haven't driven it very much. Perfect original paint that has never been cut. The 911 sits as it was delivered in 2002. Still has the original tires with, listeners, Porsche valve stem caps in perfect condition.
Ooh. Wait, is the Porsche crest on the center cap pointed towards the valve stem?
They better be.
Because if not, then it's not investment grade.
Somebody's tampered. The factory wipers still have the spoilers. Always serviced and started and used on regular intervals. Ordered with manual seats. No rear wiper. Bose. Bada, 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 bada. The price, Doug.
Man.
If you want yourself an investment grade Eggy Porsche, $68,500.
I mean, fine. Go find another one, right? I guess.
Yeah. Who's asking for this?
I never thought I'd see the day when a 996 was investment.
And on original
caliber.
tires.
Original tires.
All right,
original tires. Oh, I got one. Actually, I got 2.
Oh,
very
my goodness.
short.
Okay.
One is an anecdote. We had a customer try to trade in a vehicle last week, and they said that they had been offered $68,000, that they had that covered on their trade-in. And they told us what dealer had offered that number because they owed 72, and so they're trying to get as close to their payoff as they could, which we're seeing this a lot now. People are upside down on their cars. They're just trying to get out from under the loans. And I shopped it around a little bit. I'm like, man, 68's crazy. That's so high. So we got in touch with a dealer that had allegedly offered them $68,000, that they wanted us to beat their offer. And they're like, oh yeah, yep, we know that truck. We offered 63.
You think you just like filled in the little curves on the 3 or something? Like what?
So I'm like, all right, let's go back and be like, we'll match their offer if you can get it in writing. Anyway, yeah, buyers are liars. We have a submission from a listener, Fast Wheeler. Language warning. Sorry about this. I'm quoting, but Facebook Marketplace, gotta love it. 2004 BMW 3 Series for sale for $8,000. The buyer says, "Hi, is this available? $4,000." They respond, "Not for $4,000. 5, 8, 5,500, 8,500. Go f yourself."
Nuts for Sticks is a brand celebrating the manual transmission in all its forms. So forget those flappy paddles because we like shifting ourselves. Check out our fun and funny stick-themed shirts at nutsforsticks.com and save 10% on your order using the discount code Switchcast. That's nutsforsticks.com and use code Switchcast.
Thank you for joining us for Switchcast with Doug Tabbitt and Tyler Sanders, produced by Ethan Huffnagel. Switchcast is an automotive entertainment and opinion show, and nothing we say should be taken very seriously. We do not give tax, investment, legal, emotional, or professional advice, and the only licenses we hold are driver's licenses. The opinions expressed on this show are exclusively held by the people pontificating at that moment and do not reflect the values of our producers or sponsors. Our theme music is provided by Emily and Ivory. You can stream their full album on Spotify or SoundCloud. If you like this show, you can stream it in its entirety on your favorite audio podcast platform. Check out switchcast.live for more info.